Good morning, all. So, what's new in Paradise? Oh, well, probably the most important island event is that the lava flow from Mauna Loa, if you haven't heard this in the news already, has stopped advancing towards the highway. What do you go figure, huh? Gee, it's still erupting. There's still a significant amount of lava coming out of the fissure number 3 up there, but it's not heading through the main channel towards the road at that front anymore. It's kind of turning and branching off somewhere. Found another channel. So we don't actually know where it's all going to end up, but for now, we can all breathe a sigh of relief. Pele has spared the main highway through the saddle. Yeah, you know, it really doesn't pay to live here and to disrespect native traditions here on the island. They're strong. They exist. They've been here long before most of us have been, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of validity to most of it, as far as I'm concerned. The longer I live here, and at least the longer I watch volcanoes and lava, the more I begin to think that there's personality driving this too. Natives call it Pele, not the soccer player, the goddess. Well, you know, like I said in the video recently, there is some lava lore around here, and I only know a little bit of it because I haven't been here that long. But in my time, you know, there was Uncle Robert who sang to the flow and it stopped and property was saved. There was the Pahoa transfer station. This was almost miraculous, you know. It's like it just got done building a multi-million-dollar transfer station for recycling and trash. Just finished it, set everything up, said, hey, y'all, come on down and dump your trash. Well, about that time, Puna opened up and started sending a wall of lava right into Pahoa, and it did damage a number of things. But the two positives out of it was stopped right at the transfer station. I mean, they went nuts, hauling away all the equipment, getting everything out of there, figuring, oh boy, it's a loss, you know. Come to the bottom of the chain link fence, and I mean, it's a huge wall of lava, and it just burned off a couple chain links and sort of dribbled in like melted candle wax, and that was it. Transfer station saved. You know, we all need a place to dump our trash, I guess. Maybe Pele was afraid we'd start throwing it in the volcanoes. I don't know. You know, that wouldn't work out well either. I have no idea why it stopped where it did, but it did. And it was very convenient for everybody when it did that. Oh, and the other good part of the flow into Pahoa, of course, was the fact that as the wall of lava headed towards the new Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC chickened out. Left town for good, and that allowed Luquin's Mexican, the local, to move in and set up shop where Kentucky Fried chickened away. They haven't come back either. They're done with this place. Oh, and then again we got the highway now. Yeah, Mauna Loa and the road, which everybody's worried. Oh my goodness. Oh, could we lose the highway? No. Just got a good spectacle. So that's new. Oh, another thing that's actually is new, I didn't realize that the Hawaiian real estate market is cooling some. Economy isn't greatest, and of course, you know, if you're going to borrow any money, it's now costing more to borrow some. Plus, the prices have been just driven up through the sky. I never thought I would see houses right here in Mountain View worth over $1.5 million. Yeah, we're starting to see it. Not in every area, but because of this marketplace, what's happening is we are getting huge influx of people shopping and buying here in Puna. Puna is now the hottest real estate market in the state of Hawaii. Well, it's no wonder with like an average home price, I think is about $385 maybe. Don't quote me. Somewhere in there, under $400,000 is the average home price here. A pretty good deal, you know, depending. Although you can probably find a halfway decent place for that median price. There are some out there. Most things below the median, you don't want to be anywhere near them, you know. The other thing that was really new and is surprising to me, and that's that the real estate market here is now being driven by locals. This is not being driven by offshore investors. People here in Hawaii are relocating to Puna. I guess cheaper land, you know. You got a house that's worth $1.5 million, you sell it and then buy one for $500,000, and you get to stay in Hawaii. You know, if you can manage your work from there and so on, then it could be good. You know, Puna's got some of the finest weather on the planet if you don't mind rain. It rains here. There's one coming in right now. So that's, you know, a consideration too. But I was looking at figures, and, you know, we had like 146,000 people here back in 2000. 2010, we'd crested 185,000. Now we're over 200,000. The figure is 203,000 people. That's pretty rapid growth. And another factor, too, is relocation. There's quite a few people who live in Puna who were not in the better areas, were for lava. And now, several times recently, both in the Pu'u'opahoa flow and the Leilani flow, people are relocating. They're relocating. A lot of them are coming up here to Mountain View because it's safer. We don't get, you know, much lava in this area. So, well, it's messy. At best, it's messy. Yeah, the post office in town here has gotten so crowded. That's the one place in town, and you want to die from a traffic accident. Yeah, they've had death over there already from people not being careful. Hi, Gracie. My cat has come to see me. She's up directly across here. Right. There she is. Hi, girl. You want to hang out with me while I shoot, huh? Yeah, she just wants to be somewhere around, that's all. Yep. So, well, in regards to that, since there is sort of a boom going on here, Puna, hottest real estate market, yeah, and that does mean prices aren't going down anytime soon around here. If there's anybody out there been thinking about that, yeah, if you want to get a reduced price, you might want to try something on the slopes of Mauna Loa. Oh, yeah, I have friends who recently had purchased property about 3,000 feet up on Mauna Loa and Hawaiian Ocean View, aka Hove. Well, I guess they woke up and vacated and made their way all the way to Pahala when this started. They didn't know which way it was coming. Obviously, okay, they didn't come their way. Didn't come their way. Not this time. Not this time. But I understand that there was Pele's hair, fibers of volcanic glass, up to about 15 miles to the south of the caldera, which would put it over in that general vicinity. So conditions haven't been perfect over there, but they're not getting lava. With the growth, I'm getting a little bit more contact from people about, you know, living here. Yeah, like I said, the population growth has been large. It ain't what it used to be. The old Hawaii is gradually becoming a memory over here in Puna too. It used to be more evident at one time. some of the questions I'm getting are always about the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. You know, when you come to a guy like myself, a very peaceful man who lives in a good neighborhood, selected it well, frankly, did my diligence on this, and we don't have any trouble over here to speak of, no more than anywhere else. Asking me, what's crime like in your area? What's it? How many? You're getting robbed. They're going to steal your stuff. Why didn't they steal the solar collector on your gate? Blah 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 blah. It's offensive. It's kind of like asking me, does your wife cheat on you? In a way, yeah. It's sort of offensive thing because do I look dumb enough to have moved into a ghetto? Really, no, we don't have much crime here. But, there's several things. The neighbors here are some really upstanding, fine people. I don't have cockroaches for neighbors in this general area. I think one of the main things, though, is lot size. Yeah. Most of the lots right here are from 1,600 to 60 to 20 acres. This one small old subdivision here, which is mostly family that I live in, it was established years ago, and it is 1 acre parcels. I have 2 of them, together here. Anyway, it's not overly crowded here at all. And when you start getting into areas with larger parcels, you don't come in and start messing around. That's all there is to it, because people take care of their own. I had one of my more recent encounters with a scumbag coming by the place, walking on the road, decided that I had bananas and he was going to steal them from the road. And, whereas if the guy had come to my door and said, you got all kind of bananas out there, I could use some. And I just said, hey, dude, let's take a knife, go on out there, and you look young and strong, shinny around, help me get them bananas down. I said, I'll give you half of them. Now, that's what I would have done. Or I can give them some anyway. But, yeah, that's the nature of me and the kind of things that we usually do right around here. We don't rip off stuff from our neighbors. Generally, we ask. But he decided he was going to help himself. I saw him at it, and I wasn't happy about it at all. And so I chased him down and hollered at him and said, get the hell out of my bananas. And, the neighborhood patrol heard it, man. You don't mess around in this area. Because next thing I know is I had the neighbors out in the street. This guy was being chased down. They're hollering at him, telling him, you don't pull that stuff around here. I don't know where you come from, man, but it ain't safe around here. Yeah, I had the neighbors out in the street hollering at the guy. He never came back. He never walked by the farm again. I've never seen him. We scared him good. And his fright was real. I got 4 or 5 big guys out there in the street and want to shove a banana up your rear end. Yeah. So it's the way it is. We take care of our own over here. I get support from the neighbors. The neighbors certainly aren't going to rip me off. I don't rip the neighbors off. But what does happen is you get into areas where there's tiny lots. Yeah, the smaller the lots, the worse it is. Everybody is on everybody else's back, looking over the fences. What are you doing over there? Yeah. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are subdivisions here where the lots are really quite small. They're troublesome. Yeah, the more land you got around you, the less problems you're going to have with other people. But Paradise Lost. Seriously, old Hawaii is slowly dying away as the influx of new people. The people coming in here are asking me about pre-existing crime in the areas. Well, believe me, they're bringing plenty of it with them. Yeah, I don't have a statistic, but it's a pretty good percentage of what happens over here that's ugly doesn't happen with people who've been living here for years. There's those two. Okay, yeah, we've got our own native cockroaches in this area, but there's enough of them. but a whole lot of it. And it's people come from the mainland bringing it all with them. And they get their stress, they get their ugliness, they get their, whatever. That happens. Well, on that one, with the population growing as it is, the best I can tell you, folks, is if you come in here, I can't stop you. That ain't paradise. Paradise is a state of mind. It's a state of the union. That's all it is. It rains all the time. We got rats, We got mosquitoes. I got bit in the forefinger while talking over here. It's itching. The rats will spread rat lungworm to the slugs, and the slugs will kill you or give you neural conditions. The coqui frogs will keep you up all night and scream at 90 decibels. There's wild roosters in all the trees. I mean, it ain't paradise. Paradise is a state of mind. It's got problems like any other place I have ever been. So you'll probably do okay here if you follow a few basic rules about moving over. One, ain't paradise, okay? Hawaii is what you make it. And if you're in a dreamy state of, you're probably not going to make it, all right? Yeah. You're going to have to beat rats to death to get at your crops, all right? But, well, and if you come, live aloha and try to adapt to the culture we have here. Because some people make this them and us. You see this in some areas. It's particularly bad in the western side of the island. Otherwise, it's not very good news, but the rain has been frequent enough and the clouds thick enough that we're seeing people's solar systems beginning to fail here. I have had people, when I talk about, drive an EV, charge it on the sun, run your house in the sun, get away from petroleum and fossil fuel. Don't go there, folks. Become energy independent. I've had people literally smear me going, well, you live in Hawaii. You can do that stuff there, Well, actually, I live in one of the cloudiest and rainiest parts of the United States of America. And so if I can manage to generate enough electricity to run my house and car, almost anyone can. Yeah, that's true. It's an illusion. Or permanent sunshine. The advantages I have is I don't need heating here. I don't need cooling. Okay, and so I don't have to run furnaces and air conditioners. So my energy requirements are lower than many of you who live in places where it gets really cold. Where it gets really hot. But it's kind of funny how we seem to take a certain model of architecture in American houses, pick it up. I don't know where it started. The East Coast, I suppose. That's where it all starts. Pick it up and reproduce it across the entire country. There are subtle variations from one area to the other, but by and large, pretty much everything's built almost the same. Hawaii has a somewhat unique style of architecture here with the Japanese influence or in what they call plantation house styling. They're basically ranch homes, or some of it's two-story, but it's not that different. Although the way we build here tends to work with the climate well. We have longer eaves, bigger porches and things like that. A lot of covered area with only maybe 2 walls and stuff. It does work here. But, you get in the rest of the U.S. and if you live in the prairie states, the tornadoes that come through there, why do people keep building above the ground with stick construction? I don't really get it. I'd be looking at earth-sheltered houses, something that tornadoes would pass over. I might even have some steel shutters that rolled out over my windows, just ready for the next storm. But I can think of all kinds of different things. I mean, you get to the northern tier where it's cold all the time in the winter, and passive solar, man. I used passive solar in Wisconsin, and friends of mine had it too. It was great. You know, it eliminates that one issue, like, well, if you live in Wisconsin, you know, your energy consumption is higher. But if you live in Wisconsin with passive solar buildings, then you add, you know, photovoltaics to the system. But I see another thing new is the price of gas is coming down in the mainland, and as long as that holds, good luck. Yeah, people will take the easy way out, you know, if it's easier to continue driving those gas cars. Although, some of you are going to save quite a bit of money on your commute because it came down, and, well, good bank it, looking towards alternatives. Yeah, I think the future will be what you make it. Thoughts are your karma, your thoughts are your reality. So we'll see what comes. There's a lot of thinking out there that I pick up on that, I don't wonder about it, you know. It's like we seem to focus on minutia, trivia, and things that they just really aren't that important to most of us, you know. We'll grab hold of them and it's an issue and we're gonna clutch them like a tiger, you know. But if you really look at it, how does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? A lot of it, not much. Not very much. There are important issues. Most of it is about sustainability. You know, we are not sustainable. Currently, the way we run the world is not sustainable. We have an opportunity to start to head in a direction that is sustainable. When things seem to have a tag on them that says, yeah, sustainable, you know, environmental, these are all tags that we should be paying attention to. Yeah, doing things in the same old way ain't gonna cut it. It's not the same old world. Well, that's all I got to say about life today. The road's been spared. Puna's the hottest real estate market in Hawaii at the moment. And so people keep asking me about living here. Yeah. And all I'm going to tell you is paradise is a state of mind, folks. It ain't a state of the union. So, y'all, hang loose, live aloha.